Hello, everybody. I'm Tanishka and I'm coming to you from Wales, where I've been the last few days. And just beautiful. Have fallen in love with this land. If you ever get the opportunity to come to Wales, I highly recommend. It's very mystical. I can imagine why it's inspired so many poets here. I wanted to do a video because we are now experiencing very big energies that are initiating us, because we are navigating an approaching supermoon, a full moon in Aquarius, happening on the 1st of August, which is the traditional date for Imbolc and Lammas or Lugnasad. These are the seasonal vortices for the first beginnings of spring and autumn. So I'll speak more about that later in the video. But we're also experiencing a Venus retrograde, a 40-day descent of the planet Venus, and we're now in the Lion's Gate. So big energies to navigate. So first of all, this supermoon. So a supermoon is when the moon is closest to Earth. So that means, just as it has a big effect on the tidal surges of the oceans, since we're 70% water, we're more likely to feel intense emotional states as we approach this full moon on the 1st of August. So the exact time is 7:31 p.m. on August the 1st in the UK. That's 4:31 a.m. August the 2nd in Melbourne, Australia, and I'll put a link to see it in your location. So with the sun, where we're coming from is the Cancer solar month, and we entered the solar month in Leo on July 22nd, and Cancer connects us to our feeling function, on the understanding that we can't even identify our needs to begin to meet them if we're not connected with our feelings. So that was the previous month, which has connected us with our feelings, so that now with the sun in Leo, we can boldly find the courage to do what it is our heart is compelling us to do. And in the hero's journey, this is the crossing of the threshold. So for those that, have connected with what their deepest heart's desire is, they will now take action to embody the hero. And that means, being heart-centered and really, bowing to the wisdom of the heart. It's also the most romantic of all the signs, Leo. Leo loves big, bold gestures. It'll put a lot of thought into a creative way to express its love. So, we see lots of proposals, flash mob dance proposals, things on a big scale, because Leo loves pomp and pageantry. So, so for some, this will be a time now of really instigating big change you've probably been thinking about for the last 4 months since the solar month in Aries. Equally, for those that have connected with deep sadness, this will be a time of acknowledging what is unfulfilling, where one is unmet in the heart by those who, for whatever reason, are shut down in their feelings and unable to connect in the heart. So this is amplified by the Venus retrograde, which we're now in. And a Venus retrograde is a descent, a deep inner dive to contemplate the ways that we are unloving towards ourselves, towards others, on the understanding that we can only be, as outwardly loving as we are to ourselves. So yeah, this is a time to really acknowledge who has the capacity to love. And, for those that don't, that if we continue to try and, get blood out of a stone, so to speak, that this is abusive emotionally and psychologically, and it really evokes emotional dysregulation. So this is a time to really exercise self-love. And this may be challenging for a lot of people this time, but ultimately the payoff, because it's happening, it started in Leo, but Venus and Mars will be moving into Virgo for this coming full moon. And Virgo tends to scrutinize, to kind of sift the chaff from the wheat and discern what is healthy. Virgo is the sign of sacred space. It's the archetypal priestess, priest. And so this is us probably feeling a need to be quite contained, chaste, and discern who is honoring of our temple on all gates, and who isn't, and making our decisions accordingly. So filtering, this is the energy of identifying what relationships are healthy and what relationships aren't healthy. And how do we know that? By how it makes us feel, So, I would also like to just speak to this Venus retrograde in terms of the challenge it poses to us archetypally. So if we think about the young lovers, which is Aphrodite and Adonis, and these are the aspects that govern the emotional center, the sacral. And when they interact, there's often a lot of flirting, but not daring to speak one's feelings. And, so things can be misconstrued and misunderstood, and you never know where you stand. And this can really, create a lot of emotional dysregulation. And the challenge for both of these archetypes is self-love. So that's what takes us on the descent, on recognizing we can't get the love externally that we were hoping for. And so we have to find it from ourselves. We have to find the bride or the bridegroom within and create that inner marriage. And then we ascend as the resurrected god or goddess. And, these are the archetypes of Ishtar and I'd probably put Dionysus in there too, but the crown archetypes that are, the ascended feminine or the ascended masculine, the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine. And these are when we embody self-love. And so, we're able to discern, because for instance, Ishtar, she's half the lover and half the warrioress. So she's able to speak her needs and exercise boundaries, kind of, rather than giving herself away too easily to someone who's only able to give crumbs instead of, the whole cake, so to speak. So this time of the Venus retrograde is acknowledging where we tend to swoon with just a little bit of attention, particularly if growing up in our family of origin, attention wasn't forthcoming. We weren't truly seen and heard and understood for who we are, which can create a desperate need for that in our adult relationships. So, this is a time for recognizing who is emotionally unavailable and facing ourselves in the underworld. And this can be painful but necessary to awaken the sacred feminine or masculine, who sets boundaries to honor their feelings. So now Aquarius, the sign of this full moon, isn't particularly comfortable with emotions. It's the water bearer. So a lot of people mistake it for a water sign, but it's an air sign. It's the final air sign. So it's the most mature in terms of us reviewing our thinking, reviewing our beliefs, and our perspectives. So Aquarius, the challenge here is not to simply intellectualize our feelings, or view emotions as something we should transcend, which is basically spiritual bypassing. The emotions offer initiation, like the song Wade in the Water. It's like we need to go deep. We need to transform through intense emotional experiences. This is the challenge of Scorpio, which really brings up for us our supreme ordeal and ultimately our breakthrough moment, our transformation. And yesterday I visited the most powerful waterfall I've ever visited in my life. And doing yoga this morning, it occurred to me that, that's us, seeing that power of water, the element of water. It's so transformational, and it only happens when we really let go. If we think about water coming down rocks, it's the ultimate letting go, and it's an act of power, even though it's an act of surrender. So for this full moon, this supermoon, the sun in Leo opposite moon in Aquarius, these are fixed signs, sustaining energy. Leo calling forth the hero, and Aquarius asking us, where am I headed? What's my future going to look like? Aquarius is the sign of the future. And so this is when sudden, unexpected divine interventions, miracles can happen to reorient us into our highest destiny, the trajectory of us fulfilling our highest potential. So, the catch cry for Aquarius is expect the unexpected. So in terms of helping us, we have the Lion's Gate, which we entered on the 26th of July, and we're in it until August the 13th. A lot of people think the Lion's Gate is just the 8th of the 8th, the 8th day of the 8th month, which is August the 8th, but that's the zenith, okay? That is the climactic point of it, but basically it's when the star system Sirius rises in the east, and it aligns with the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. And Sirius, of course, you just want to say it's very serious, got to say that, otherwise I can't move on. But it's the dog star. It is associated with sacred geometry, with the sacred masculine. It is a blue star system. It is twice the size of our sun and 26 times brighter. So that is giving us a huge influx of light energy. And this is calling forth the hero. This is a very special window for calling forth the sacred masculine on the planet. So I'm excited to say I'll be presenting a workshop, Awakening the Sacred Masculine, at the All About Love Festival in Huntingdale in the UK on the Zenith on August the 8th at 3:30 at the Conscious Connection stage. If you're in UK, I believe there are some tickets left. And also at Into the Wild Festival later this month. Would welcome those of you that can make those events. And if you can't, I'm planning to turn it into a digital workshop. So this is a time when, we're going to see a stepping up, if you will, of right action, because the masculine is the active polarity in both men and women. So this is about us taking action that is divinely inspired, okay, that our own oversoul, our highest wisdom is saying this is the path of integrity, you know, of being in alignment with that voice of the heart. So yeah, the other thing I wanted to speak about was, on the final day of the Lionsgate, which is August the 13th, this is the one day of the year when Venus will be conjunct the sun. So this is a day to meditate on what it is your heart wants, to take action on what your heart wants, and you will have had that whole window of the Lionsgate to summon your courage, so to speak. So, you know, equally, it's a bit of a flag if you're not following the call or the will of the heart. This could be a day that, you know, you experience, whether it's an anxiety attack, heart palpitations, heart attack, freak accidents, you know, that are a catalyst to say, hey, you're on the wrong track. You're not listening to your heart, you know. So yeah, it's kind of like the Tower card, you know, carpe diem, seize the day, and if you don't, then the universe may intervene. So I do just want to also speak to the seasonal chakra points that we are now approaching. So the traditional dates that these are celebrated is usually August the 2nd. But because the calendar was changed by, I think it was Pope Gregory, the actual date is August the 7th. So the exact time of Lammas or Lughnasadh, which is the halfway point between what do we just have? We had summer solstice and the spring equinox. So the halfway point is known as Lammas or Lughnasadh. It's the first of the harvest festivals, and it will be exact at 7:21 p.m. UK time, August the 7th. So if you're planning on doing, you know, ceremony, particularly on the ley lines, or meditation, or lovemaking to unify opposites in accordance with the Hieros Gamos tradition, that's the time, that's the power window, 7:21 p.m. on August the 7th in the UK. So this is a time, Lu was the sun god. So what's been renamed the Michael ley line in the south of England was once the Lu ley line. This is, you know, the solar god or hero, the masculine, the sacred masculine. So this is a festival where we thank the sun. We thank him for all the light and the insights and the awareness that we've received over the lighter months since the darkest day, the winter solstice, all through the spring and the summer. So this is a time to really bow to and honor the gifts of the sacred masculine. So a beautiful time to do arts and crafts with your children, celebrating the sun, celebrating the father, and a time when we take responsibility. You know, this often coincides with the ending of the school holidays and people sort of returning to their responsibilities. It's a time to, you know, distill, to preserve, whether that's, you know, the first things from your garden that have fruited, and to, you know, put your nuts away for the winter, so to speak. For those in the southern hemisphere, this gate is Imbolc. So it's when the first light enters the dark cave of winter, and we start to get a reprieve. We start to find a lightness of being again, and a sense of renewed hope after our ego being humbled and taken down to look at our shadow in the darker months, ever since the end of that summer solstice, taking us down through autumn and winter. So this is, you know, when we often get aha moments and a sense of, oh, now I understand why I had to go through that, or a new perspective, whether that comes from a book or a teacher or your own intuitive knowing. So this is a time of starting to lighten up. And the exact time, Melbourne, Australia time, is August the 8th. So the zenith of the Lionsgate at 4:21 a.m. in the morning. So that's the exact time of Imbolc if you want to harness that window for ceremony or meditation or lovemaking. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the approaching supermoon, our current journey through the Lionsgate and Venus descent. I feel there's a real correlation between Venus descending as the sun is rising. It's kind of like the humbling of our heart, and us scrutinizing the ways that we haven't been loving is the catalyst for the rise of what is heroic in our lives, and maximizing our capacity for love. So I hope that's inspiring and helpful in some way. If you found this helpful, then by all means, you have my blessing to share it. And would love to see you at the UK festivals where I'm presenting. So All About Love, August the 8th, and Into the Wild, I think it's the 27th, but I'll just double check that. Yeah, the 27th. August the 27th is when I'm presenting it Into the Wild Festival. And I'm also coming to Glastonbury. So I'm doing events in Glastonbury starting August the 11th. Gather the Tribe at the Avalon Room in Glastonbury at 7 p.m. Then on August the 12th, I'll be doing a book signing and a talk, my latest book, The Grail, and I will have copies there. At My Pleasure Shop in Glastonbury, and then that evening at 7 o'clock on August the 12th, a free brotherhood circle. And August the 13th, the day that the Sun and Venus are conjunct, I'll be doing a free sisterhood circle in Glastonbury, 7 o'clock, August 13 at My Pleasure Shop. So I'd love you to join me. And thanks so much for watching. Okay, ciao for now.